Please raise your hand if you are divorced, if your parents are divorced, or if you know someone who's divorced. Now, if you close your eyes and picture in your mind the face of a child or children who have been negatively impacted by that divorce. This might be your own children that you're seeing, those of friends, family members, neighbors. Maybe it's yourself as a child. Divorce is an extremely prevalent part of our culture, and children are often innocent victims caught in the crossfire. I believe that children are not negatively impacted by divorce, rather by the actions and behaviors of the grown-ups involved. But this is good, because grown-ups are capable of learning from their actions and changing their behaviors. This is my ex-husband, Chris, and I, in August 2015. It was about 20 minutes after we'd signed our final paperwork, and about 4 years after we had separated. The next day, I posted the photo in our story on Facebook, and it went viral. It was shared over 40,000 times and counting, and it caught the attention of people all over the world, from CBC to the Huffington Post to the organizers of TEDxGrandePrairie. We also heard from producers of TV shows like The View. And that's me on Good Morning America. It seems that people were fascinated by the friendship that Chris and I shared, which was fascinating to me, but also really sad. I believe that treating your parenting partner with kindness and respect should and can be the norm. So how did this happen? How did two people who, in the 4 years leading up to taking this photo, had felt everything from guilt, shame, anger, frustration, some days what felt like hatred for each other, how did we end up smiling for a selfie on our last day as husband and wife? And why? I'll start with why. Chris and I each spent just over $700 to get divorced. That covered everything, legal fees for our separation agreement, all the way to filing the final paperwork. $15,306. This is the average cost of a contested divorce in Canada in 2015. Chris and I each spent about $700. But saving money was not the main reason that we were committed to treating each other with kindness and respect. We had two main reasons. This is Brady, who's almost 14, and Finley, who's 10. So how did we do it? First of all, we made the decision to put our children first for every decision that we made and every action that we took. So I'm just going to say that one more time. We made the decision to put our children first for every decision that we made and every action that we took. I'm just kidding. This is not the end of my talk. But really, it could be. Had we done nothing else, I'm convinced that we would have ended up with the same outcome, which is 2 happy, healthy kids and 2 happy, healthy grown-ups. So before I share what worked for us, I just want to preface by saying that I'm not an expert. I'm just a mom. I've only done this one time. I hope to only ever do this one time. But my point is that you don't have to be an expert to make the choice to treat your parenting partner with kindness and respect. So the first thing that we did was recognize that we didn't know how to do this on our own. We knew exactly where we wanted to go, and we had no idea how to get there. We found Calgary Counseling Center, and we committed to therapy for ourselves as individuals, together as a team, as a family with our kids, and for our kids on their own. How can you negotiate something as critical and sensitive as a custody arrangement when you don't know how to talk to each other, let alone listen to each other? We needed to learn how to communicate. We wanted to reach a place where we could each be accountable for each of our roles, and we wanted to get to a place of forgiveness. This was not easy. In fact, it was very, very hard. So the second thing that really worked for us was understanding that this was going to be hard work. If you know the phrase that good work takes hard work, you know what I mean. This was good work. So how did we find Calgary Counseling Center? The same way you find anything. We Googled it. We live in a time when more information is available to us than we ever have in history. If you're willing to take the time to punch in, how do I complete my taxes as a small business owner? Or how do I get red wine out of the carpet? Take the time to use the resources and punch in, how can I protect my children as we're going through a divorce? What should I do? What shouldn't I do, more importantly, to make sure that they're okay? Some of the things seemed like common sense, things like don't talk badly about your ex in front of the kids. But we learned a lot, things that we never would have thought of. How important it is to never ask your kids to keep a secret from the other parent. What impact that can have on them if you do that. Things like never asking them to give a message to the other parent. There's a lot of information out there, and it was very valuable for us in doing the research to figure it out. We had to have patience. It got to the point where we just wanted it to be over. But that was really when we had to settle in for the long haul. Chris and I lived together for a full 6 months after we separated. When he finally moved out, we had family dinners together once a week. We had family sleepovers at both houses so that everybody knew that everyone was welcome everywhere. It took us 11 years to build, grow, and eventually end our relationship. So we had to understand that finding a new normal was not going to happen overnight. But eventually it did happen. And so the last thing that was probably most helpful for us was recognizing that when everyone is happy, everyone is happy. This is Daisha and Chris. Daisha has 2 daughters, Abby and Cadence, who have become sisters to my kids. And when she came into our lives, I had to do the good work of just listening when my kids came home from spending time with her and letting them tell me about her. I had to ask curious questions, and Daisha and I did the good work of getting to know each other as people. The cool thing that happens when you open your heart and your mind to new people coming into your kids' lives is that they could learn things that they never would have otherwise. So Daisha's family are farmers. Daisha grew up on a farm, her parents still live on one. So my little city kids have all of these experiences that they never would have had otherwise. Like the time that Finley came home from a weekend at Daisha's parents' farm and was so excited to tell me, Mom, if you ever want to know how to kill a gopher, you just smash it on the head with a rock. Awesome. My kids have new grandparents, cousins, aunts and uncles, who are all contributing to the joy of their childhood. I know that someday I'll meet someone, and Chris and Daisha will welcome him to the team. I'll finish by telling a story of the day that I knew that our good work had paid off and that we were all going to be okay. We went in for a family counseling session, all 4 of us, and the therapist directly asked Brady and Finley if you had a magic wand that you could wave and change one thing about your life, what would you do? And I braced myself for what I was sure would be a heartbreaking response. Brady and Finley were very thoughtful in their answer. They said, "We would like more tacos, please." So they didn't have to say, "We wish that Mom and Dad would be kinder to each other or that all the fighting would stop." They didn't even say that they wish that we could all be together again as a family. They wish that Chris and I would both make more tacos, and so now we do. Thank you.